Well, it is hot and smoky, and tonight we are here at the Southern Oregon Speedway to open up the 2021 ISCS Week of Speed. Welcome back to today's video. If you guys are new here, my name is Tanner Holmes, and I'm an 18-year-old 360 and 410 sprint car driver from Southern Oregon. And unfortunately, tonight I'm not going to be racing, which sucks because this place is my home racetrack. We're right outside of Medford, Oregon at this quarter-mile dirt clay oval known as the Southern Oregon Speedway. But my younger sister, Carly, who is 14 years old, is going to be competing tonight in the limited sprint division. Like I said, this opens up Oregon Limited Speed Week, which is 7 races in 8 days, starting here at the southern part of Oregon, and then it goes up and actually finishes over on the coast in Washington at the Grace Harbor Raceway. So they're going to hit a bunch of different racetracks. It's going to be a lot of fun. One thing to note, I started today's video off in this grassy section off of turns 1 here at this track. This was a common place that I used to watch the races as a kid, 5, 6, 7 years old. They used to have so many big wing sprint car shows here between ISCS National Tour, Speedweek, and the Outlaws. So I kind of wanted to come and start this video in this special spot here because there's nothing like racing at home. But as I mentioned, Carly's going to be getting after it tonight. We are going to head into the pit area. She's just getting all strapped in for an engine heat. Then they're going to roll right into group qualifying. Should be a fun night. Last time Carly was behind the wheel, she did win her first ever sprint car race right at this track in our hometown. Such a special night. Hopefully she can repeat that success as we go forward and get started with qualifying. Well, qualifying is complete here at the Southern Oregon Speedway. They ended up doing single car qualifying instead of groups because they had an issue with their transponder system, so they weren't able to take times. So I believe they actually ended up just doing a stopwatch. They did one time with a warm-up and a cool down, so Carly had to hit her mark since she only had one chance at it. How did the car feel, and what's the racetrack kind of already starting to do early in the night?
1 and 2's definitely slicking off. I think 1 and 2 is going to be like last time we were here. It's just right around the top, and then 3 and 4, it's kind of all over besides the bottom. Do not want to go on the bottom. It's too flat down there. But we ended up 4th overall, so they'll put us front row outside for our heat and then front row inside for the dash.
So a good start to the night. I was kind of surprised with the low car count to start Speed Week. This isn't a points race for the week or for ISCS for the season, just because they added it late, so that probably contributed to why we only have 9 sprint cars. But overall, like I said, we're still racing close to home. It's so fun to race just 20 minutes from the house. As Carly mentioned, it's starting to slicken off a little bit down here in 1 and 2. I think this end is going to be pretty racy for the heat races. 3 and 4 is much narrower, and you kind of just have to follow the banking and then turn off a little bit on exit. Heat races will be up next, though. They have opening ceremonies. A great crowd, though, tonight, especially for the circumstances of how smoky and hot it is. I know that makes it a little bit more difficult, but that's just our summers out here in Oregon. Anyway, heat races will be up next. Carly just won her heat race here at the Southern Oregon Speedway. Racetrack is very similar to what qualifying looked like, but watching from the grandstands, it just looks so rough out there. The cars are bouncing around. Can you kind of talk about the track conditions for the heat?
It was a little rough. 1 and 2, my car was just too tight for it. So I don't know if Tanner was filming or not, but my brakes were glowing. And that's kind of what I was smelling, was that burntness from the brakes, because I had to use my brakes to help the car turn down in 2. 3 and 4 is still, you kind of can run the middle to the top. It's definitely a little rough. I probably should have ran a little bit lower in 3 and 4, but I'll learn. And now we're in the redraw, so let's see what I can pull.
And hopefully Carly has a little bit better redrawing skills than I have had during 2021. But so the best she can start is on the pole, the worst she can start is 6th. Now that Carly's walked out of the trailer, something I want to say, she looked really, really good there in that heat race, and especially how hard she's driving the car. On rough racetracks, sometimes it's all about which driver can get through the ruts the best, but driving the race car hard is such a big part of that. You got to have wheel spin, you just got to keep going forward, and the fact that she was able to be up on the wheel and just run 8 good laps there to win that heat race was another key part of our night. Redraw is going to be up next. We're going to see what she's able to pill.
Sport modified Matt Sanders.
Well, I'm down here entering turn 3 at the Southern Oregon Speedway, and I just want to show you the track conditions that we've been talking about all night long. It's definitely not getting slicker, and unfortunately, I told you guys just a couple seconds ago in the video, hopefully Carly is able to pull a good number, start on the front row, and she pulled the 6. That is just the Holmes family luck. I don't know what it is. It runs in our blood or something, but the racetrack is extremely hooked up, so I just put some tear-offs on for Carly. She is definitely going to need them, even though it's a small field. I mean, starting 6th behind any sprint cars at all, they're going to be flinging a lot of mud. Here's a look at this end, very, very narrow. You can really only race right around here. The higher and higher you get up, the tighter the race car is going to be, and the rougher it kind of gets with all the chunkiness in the racetrack. So we're just going to see. We have one more modified A-main event. I don't think the track's going to change. It's definitely going to be Cowboy up tonight. All right, run a good race. Love you. I think on the start, like, watch out where the guys go, but I think the high side's going to be fast in 1 and 2. But, you know, I mean, you got to be careful because it's going to be narrow. And then 3 and 4, as the race goes on, I think you're going to be able to move up a little bit if they're all kind of running down low. But don't put yourself in a spot where you're too strung out, because it is, you know, where the fast lane's fast. So you got to run there. But just be careful, and, you know, track's going to be fast. So you got to be, you know, you got to watch out where guys are going in front of you. So, love you. Go get them. well, the A main event is over, and here's kind of a look at the surface at the end of the 25 lap feature. We talked about it before Carly rolled out. We knew it was gonna be very, very tough to pass, and even before, I made sure to throw on a handful of extra tear-offs. But I have Carly down here to kind of look at the racetrack with me. Talk a little bit about your A main event.
The start was pretty good. I was up to, I think, 4th, and then I biked it up in 1 and 2. And I was just too tight, so that kind of didn't really help me out in the feature. I just kind of ran through the middle the whole time and just wide open. That's all I really could do.
With the track conditions, you guys know what my thoughts are on hooked up and more cowboy up stuff. That's not really my style, and it's not really Carly's style either. And kind of with how the racetrack was, track position was so key. If you're able to start farther up front, your chance of finishing up there increased. And where Carly was at, she got a good start. She was able to make some moves, but it's just so tough on these hooked up tracks, especially in the limited. I think in a 360 and a 410, it's maybe not as bad because you have power to kind of get yourself out of trouble. But in these things, if you get tight and you bog down, I'm sure Carly can attest, I mean, the cars just don't really pull themselves out of the fluff.
Yeah, I mean, once you're kind of in the grip, you're in the grip. You can't really get out of it. A few times I was in the grip and I tried to turn down. It just, I don't know. Track surface was pretty good, just missed setup tonight.
Just a little too tight, like Carly mentioned. I think there's a couple reasons why it really didn't slicken off. The one, we obviously talked a little bit about car count in 3 classes tonight. So the mods help move material a little bit, but the sprint cars were really the main ones doing it. And then also, as I got to thinking, it's so smoky right now in the valley. I feel like part of it is the sun. It's almost like 100 degrees, but the sun's not really beating down on the track. So that doesn't really contribute to it getting slicker and losing grip. But as I've always said, the Southern Oregon guys, new people running the track this year, they're really giving it 110% and trying to provide a great surface for us racers. And as more races go on and seasons go by with this new configuration, I'm sure it's gonna get better and better. And I was just happy to see Speedweek start off right here in our hometown. But real quickly, before we end the video, I wanna give Carly a chance to thank her sponsors.
I would like to thank Ed Boyd Racing, the crew guys, Tanner, Roger, my dad, Skylar, everyone who've helped. TSK Designs put an awesome design on the car for the season. On-site screeners, Earthed Environmental, Rush Race Gear, Ed Boyd Racing, Truck Shop Motors, and to everyone who has helped me with my racing career in the sprint car. We're definitely getting better as we go.
And nights like this are just a part of it. I know the last time you guys saw Carly here, she put it in victory lane, and that was such an incredible night. And then other times, sometimes you're racing more of the track, trying to get the car better. I know a lot of guys ran more stagger tonight than they probably have all year, and that's just because you got to get the race car to turn on some of these tight corners. So 10 starts into Carly's career, she has a lot of races left. This angle kind of shows you how much real estate we kind of had up here to work with if we were able to just continue moving it farther and farther up. But as I said, I look forward to the future of this place, definitely hoping for more sprint car shows, limited 360 and maybe 410 one day. I know they're really pushing to try to bring that back here on the West Coast. But Carly and I have a big day tomorrow. We got to get the car all cleaned up, definitely very, very dirty and in need of a bath. So we're gonna get the 22C all cleaned up, maintenance, ready for 6 more nights of ISCS Week of Speed. But I think to end tonight, even though it didn't go as good as last time, we got to stop by In-N-Out on the way home before they close. So we're gonna head on over to that. Thank you guys for riding along with us. It's definitely been fun, and we're looking forward to Carly's journey over the next week. See you guys all in the next one. Deuces.